The gray wolf, Canis lupus, has lived a story that is as old as the wilderness itself, a tale of survival, struggle, and coexistence that stretches back nearly 2 million years. Emerging from ancient canid ancestors that roamed the world during the Ice Age, the wolf adapted to some of the harshest climates the planet had to offer. Its thick coat, endurance, and remarkable intelligence allowed it to chase prey across frozen tundras and vast forests. Unlike solitary hunters, wolves thrived in packs, developing complex social structures where cooperation, loyalty, and communication became essential for survival. These traits made them highly successful predators, and their ability to work as a unit gave them an advantage over many other creatures. Early humans, too, observed these behaviors and sometimes followed wolf packs, learning from their hunting techniques. Over time, an unusual relationship began to form between certain wolves and human communities. Some wolves, less aggressive and more curious, lingered near camps, feeding on scraps and slowly gaining trust. This mutual tolerance gave rise to the domesticated dog, one of humanity's earliest companions and most enduring partnerships. While dogs became part of human households and hunts, wolves remained in the wild, carrying with them the spirit of untamed nature. As human societies evolved, so too did their views of the wolf. To many ancient peoples, the wolf became a figure of myth and legend. The Romans told of a she-wolf nursing Romulus and Remus, twin brothers destined to found the city of Rome, turning the animal into a symbol of strength and divine guardianship. In Norse mythology, wolves were powerful beings both revered and feared, with Fenrir, the monstrous wolf, fated to devour gods at the end of the world. Among Native American tribes, wolves were often considered teachers and guides, respected for their endurance, intelligence, and family bonds. Their howls were thought to carry spiritual messages, their presence a reminder of unity and survival. Yet even within these stories of respect, wolves also became figures of danger and unpredictability, embodying both the wild's gifts and its threats. As agriculture spread across the world, the relationship between humans and wolves shifted sharply. Farmers who depended on livestock saw wolves not as spiritual beings, but as enemies that threatened their survival. Wolves, being opportunistic predators, occasionally preyed on sheep, goats, and cattle, causing losses that rural families could not afford. This sparked an age of conflict in which wolves became villains in the human imagination. Medieval Europe filled with stories of wolves as sinister predators, reinforced by tales like Little Red Riding Hood and the Three Little Pigs, where the wolf was cunning, merciless, and destructive. Governments placed bounties on wolves, and communities organized large-scale hunts. By the 1800s and early 1900s, especially in Europe and North America, wolves faced relentless extermination campaigns. Poison, traps, and rifles were used with deadly efficiency, pushing wolf populations to the brink of extinction in many regions. Where once they roamed across nearly the entire northern hemisphere, their presence was reduced to remote wilderness, mountains, and tundra. For centuries, the wolf became a ghost in the human landscape, remembered mostly in stories and folklore rather than in daily life. Yet the absence of wolves did not go unnoticed by the natural world. Without their presence, prey species such as deer and elk flourished unchecked, leading to overgrazing and devastating effects on plant life. Forests and grasslands thinned, rivers changed course, and other species dependent on balanced ecosystems declined. Wolves, once seen as destroyers, were in fact critical guardians of balance. Scientists began to recognize wolves as a keystone species, one whose influence reached far beyond its immediate prey. Nowhere was this more evident than in Yellowstone National Park, where wolves were exterminated in the early 20th century. For decades, elk herds grew to unsustainable numbers, stripping valleys of young trees and grasses, which in turn diminished populations of beavers, birds, and countless other creatures. In 1995, when wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone, the changes were profound. Elk behavior shifted, plant life rebounded, beavers returned, and even rivers reshape themselves as vegetation stabilized their banks. The wolf's return demonstrated the interconnectedness of all life, proving that even one species could transform an entire landscape. This recognition sparked a new era of conservation. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, wolves began making a slow comeback. Through protected reserves, reintroduction programs, and legal protections, populations have returned to parts of the United States, Canada, and Europe. Minnesota, the Rocky Mountains, and the forests of Italy, Germany, and France have once again heard the echo of the wolf's howl. Indigenous groups and environmentalists often celebrate this return, seeing in it not only ecological healing, but also a symbolic reconciliation between humans and a natural world. Yet the debate remains far from settled. Farmers and ranchers still express deep concerns about wolves threatening their herds, and clashes between conservation efforts and rural livelihoods persist. Governments attempt to balance both perspectives, creating compensation programs for livestock losses and implementing careful monitoring of wolf populations. The wolf story in a modern age is thus one of fragile coexistence, reflecting humanity's broader struggle to live in harmony with nature rather than in dominance over it. Beyond the physical world, the wolf continues to inspire human imagination in literature, art, and film. Once feared as a villain in children's tales, wolves now often appear as symbols of resilience, freedom, and wilderness. They represent qualities of independence and loyalty, admired for their family bonds and endurance in harsh conditions. Writers and filmmakers often depict them as noble creatures misunderstood by humans, embodying the wild spirit that resists control. Their haunting howls across moonlit forests have become emblems of mystery, connecting us to something primal and ancient. Even in urban societies far removed from wilderness, the wolf remains a powerful reminder of nature's beauty and ferocity. The long journey of the gray wolf reveals more about humans than about the animal itself. It mirrors our fears, our respect, our violence, and our reverence for the wild. For thousands of years, wolves have walked alongside us, sometimes as rivals, sometimes as companions, and always as symbols of the wilderness we struggle to understand. Their survival through centuries of persecution is a testament to their adaptability and endurance, qualities that continue to inspire admiration. Wolves endure as both a living species and a cultural icon, their howls carrying across forests, mountains, and human memory alike. Their history is a story not of extinction, but of resilience, not of conquest, but of coexistence, reminding us that the wild still breathes, just beyond the edge of human control.